So, welcome to the second week lecture. Now, we are going to discuss here this lecture, that is lecture 6, is that how we can understand related things related to performance planning. So, when I am talking about performance planning, basically we are going to discuss that how we are going to plan the performance, what are the issues related to performance planning, what are the role of various stakeholders, okay, and how do we go about it, so that you are able to manage performance very well. Now, as we have discussed earlier that when we are talking about performance planning process, that once you are able to decide the prerequisites based on organizational goals and objectives and also the knowledge of the job, you move to the next stage, and this next stage is related to planning, that you need to plan about the performance. You also need to discuss about the development plan that we have discussed, and we also talked about the role of employees in the process and the supervisors. Okay. So, you can see that everyone, most of the people who are going to be involved, whether it is superiors or the management or the head of the department, each one of them is going to be involved in the process of this employee development. Now, what we are going to discuss is that what role they have in performance planning. So, first we will try to understand what is performance planning, then we will discuss the role of stakeholders, and then we will talk about some of the issues related to performance planning. So, if you remember the performance management process, it is the first step in the performance management. So, performance planning is the first stage, right. Now, when you are going to plan about the performance, basically the idea is that you have to see that how you are going to do a job, right, and what you are going to do. So, once you decide about what is to be done and how it is to be done, so that you and your supervisor understand each other expectations, and it is a part of the performance planning process. So, when you are going to plan the performance, you should know what is expected from you as a subordinate by the supervisor, and supervisor also communicates its expectations to the subordinate, and not only that, but he also communicates what is expected and how the job will be done. Okay. So, this is a part of the performance planning, and it starts with the organization, then you move to the unit and then to the individual. So, the line is from the organization to unit and then from unit to the employees, right. So, now if you look at this, who are involved in this process? Okay. So, you can see three major stakeholders: the HR department, okay, supervisors of that particular person, subordinates, that is the staff, and also the head of the department. So, you can see all three are going to be involved in the triangular relationship, and that is supported by the head of the department. So, suppose you are going to plan the performance of a recruitment manager or and say welfare officer in the HR department. So, you have to see that the staff is the welfare assistant, supervisor is the welfare officer, the head of the department, the general manager HR, and then also that HRD head is also involved. So, all these in this process you will find that everybody is going to be involved. Okay. So, when you are going to plan about the performance, you need to ensure that everyone is involved in the process, right, because if you are not going to involve them, later on there could be issues related to development, right. Now, two major stakeholders in this performance planning is the supervisor and the employees, right. So, what is the role of the supervisor in the process of performance planning? Since supervisor is going to direct, guide, control the behavior of the employees, and he is going to be in constant touch and direct touch with the employees, he has a major role to play in the process. So, he has to understand the work that is to be performed by the employees, right. So, he must have a very good understanding of the job that the employee is going to do, right. He must also know what are the critical functions and what are the KRAs. You remember we just talked about KPAs are identifying the key performance areas or key result areas which could be critical. So, the supervisor must understand that what are the critical functions or KRAs which is going to contribute to the performance of the employees, right. And he is going to see that it is going to include things which is a part of the job description, because job description actually tells you or gives you data about the duties and responsibilities, right. So, since the input is coming from job description, supervisor is supposed to know whether the job description that is available for the employees is accurate or not, whether updated information is provided, whether there is a role clarity, whether the employees know what is expected of them or not, okay, whether the job is matching with the individual or not in terms of his knowledge and skill base. So, he is supposed to review the job description and also job specification to ensure that job is matching with the employees, okay, and whether the employees have all the information related to the job, including its expectations, how it is to be done, okay, because that is a part of the job description, and if it is not available, then clarity will not be there. So, in order to have more clarity related to job in terms of its duties and responsibilities, the supervisor is supposed to review it on a regular basis and provided updated information what is supposed to be done in a given job, because sometimes the job description keep on changing if there is change in the role or there is a restructuring exercises goes on. Okay. So, there are a lot of changes which happens because of these exercises in the job of an individual. So, whenever there is any change in the job description, it must be communicated, it must make sure that it is updated, and this is the responsibility of the supervisor to keep abreast of updated information related to the job that a person has to perform, because it is going to contribute to his result areas, right. The next thing is that he must know what does it mean to say successful performance, especially related to the core competencies, okay. And this has to be communicated to the employees. It is very, very important that employees are communicated that okay, these are the competencies which is required for effective performance, and that is why he need to match the job description and job specification. Next area is that, as I told you, that you need to identify the priority areas. As I told you that once you are able to identify KPIs, then you go for giving relative weightage to each of these areas. So, what are the areas which needs more attention, which contributes more to performance. So, that is to be identified. Okay. So, once this weightage you are able to identify the priority areas, you have to communicate it to the people or the employees. So, that they know okay, this is what you are supposed to do, these are the priority areas related to your KPIs, okay, and this is the weightage, and then you need to work on the basis of this. Now, this is to be communicated to the employees, okay, and you also need to tell him that okay, how your work contributes to the goals and objectives of the department. Okay. And then supervisor is also supposed to provide all kind of support and resources in terms of information, resources, tools, training supervisor, because as a supervisor you are going to lead, guide and control the behavior of the employees. But this is not enough, but you also need to act as a resource person. You need to see that whatever resources in terms of infrastructure, tools, equipment that is required by the employees is available. Okay. So, you are supposed to provide all the support which is required to facilitate effective performance from the employees. So, now you can see that supervisor has a big role. So, they must understand what are the KPIs which are critical, right, whether the job description, job specification is matching or not, what are the areas which is important, how it is contributing to group performance or the unit performance, okay, and then they are supposed to provide all the needed support to the employees, so that he is able to perform well. Now, it is not only the responsibility of the supervisor. Similarly, you can see that employees are also a stakeholder in the process, because ultimately the job is to be performed by the employees. So, they must also understand what are the duties and responsibilities in terms of the critical functions and the key tasks that they have to perform, right. For example, I have taken the example of HR manager or a faculty, and we identified the critical functions, and for each of these critical functions what are the key activities that they have to do. So, this must be understood by the employees as well, because unless employees understand it, they will not be able to contribute to the performance. So, it is important that they have a good understanding of what they are going to do, right. Then whatever job description is given to them, they should cross check it with the managers to ensure that it is accurate and it is updated. So, the responsibility of providing accurate job description and information is of supervisor, but cross checking it with the manager helps the employee to understand and clarify, okay, this is what I am supposed to do as a part of my job, right. And they should also understand what does it mean to say successful performance. Okay. So, that they know, okay, if they are going to do these things using these competencies, it would contribute to their performance. Okay. So, they must also understand, as should be communicated, that how their work is contributing to organizational performance, because it also gives them a sense of pride and they would be happy by knowing that, okay, in what way their contribution is helping the organization to grow and develop through the departments, right. And if they are having any issues, any problems, they must ask questions to their supervisor, because it is the responsibility of the supervisor to provide all kind of support. Okay. So, whenever they need any support, they must ask for it. If there is any issue, if there is something that is not clear to them in terms of roles and responsibilities, in terms of tasks, in terms of targets, okay, then they must go to the supervisor and ask these questions, that how it is to be done. Okay. And that would probably help them to be committed to the job that they are going to do. Okay. So, they must get engaged with the job in a proper way, and if they are understanding all these issues, probably it would help them to contribute to the job and also the results. So, now what we have discussed is related to what you call the role of the supervisor and the employees in the process. Now, what we are going to discuss is that when you are going to plan for effective performance, what does it mean? It means that you are going to use a very standard structured process to achieve the desired level of performance for both the individuals or the team, depending upon whether you are going to plan it for individual or whether you are going to plan it for the team, right. So, any kind of performance plan should occur at two levels. First, you have an initial performance plan in the beginning, okay, this is what you need to achieve, and then based on the performance you are going to have a improvement plan. So, performance planning may occur at two levels. So, first is your performance plan, which is basically nothing else but initial performance, that is where the supervisor and subordinate discuss about the performance and then they try to achieve it. After the performance is achieved, then you are going to talk about the improvement plan, that is related to what we call the development plan. So, we will discuss both these in initial performance plan and performance improvement plan, but before that we talk about the role of a performance plan. What is the role? Why we want to have a plan for the performance? Okay. So, the development of a performance plan happens at the beginning of the performance cycle, right. So, at the first stage, as I told you, that you are going to plan the performance, okay, or when you are going to take up a new role, there also you are going to plan the performance. Okay. So, here you are going to set the scene and discuss the plan by agreeing on certain things, that is what output, projects and deliverables are and what you are going to do basically. So, as a part of the initial performance plan, you are supposed to agree through discussion related to the deliverables, that is part of your result, what kind of productivity or output is supposed to be done and what kind of projects you are going to complete, depending upon the nature of the job that you are going to do. Next, how we are going to do it? It means what are the conduct and behavior, what are the processes that you are going to adopt to achieve those outputs and deliverables, right. And finally, what kind of knowledge and skill base that is required, that you need to do on the job. So, as a part of the performance plan, you need to discuss these issues, so that it is clear to you that okay, this is my performance plan. So, what happens initially? Okay, it is a detailed plan, a specific plan, okay, where you do certain things, like at the first stage you identify the desired performance level. For example, as a student, if you are doing a course and you want to perform well, so your initial performance plan, if you look at it, it could be like what is the performance level that you want to achieve. So, for example, you want to achieve A grade, whether you want to achieve B grade or C grade. Okay. So, what is your, because accordingly you are going to work. So, you need to identify what is the desired level of performance. So, and you need to identify them, right. So, suppose you say that you want to achieve A grade in the course that you are doing. So, as a part of the initial performance plan, with the discussion you are going to set this, okay, that okay, I want to achieve A grade. Okay. So, that is the desired performance level in a particular course. Now, the next stage you are going to identify how these performance level will be achieved. Okay. So, you also need to identify those activities which you are going to carry out in terms of your conduct and behavior through which you are going to achieve this level. So, how are you going to achieve this level of performance in terms of your conduct and behavior? So, regularly attending classes, okay, that is one, listening to the faculty whatever he is teaching, okay, taking up all the assignments, being punctual, readings all the assignments that is given, performing well on the exam. Okay. So, all this could be part of what you call the process through which you are going to achieve this. Okay. So, it is not only that you are going to identify the goal, but you also need to work. So, you need to identify those conducts and behavior which is expected by you to do in order to reach that performance level. Okay. So, if you are regular, if you are doing everything as per the schedule, okay, then probably you would be able to achieve that performance level and achieve the desired grade, right. Then in the process, do you require any feedback, any guidance? So, whether you need the help of the faculty, right, whether you need the help of your peers. Okay. So, if you require it, then you can ask for the support, because needed support is always required. Okay. So, you can go to the faculty if you have any questions, if you want to clarify certain things, you can discuss with your peer groups, right. They can provide you help and direction, or if it is not clear to you, then you can visit your faculty, you can take appointment with him, you can discuss with him that how it is to be done. Okay. So, in the process what will happen, the faculty would be able to tell you, okay, these are the things that you need to do in order to achieve the desired level of performance. Then as a part of this initial performance plan, you also need to see that at the end of that you have a criteria for evaluation, okay, and measure it on a regular basis. So, for example, as a student you are going to write a number of assignments. Okay. So, see that from assignment 1 to assignment 2 whether you have made any progress, from assignment 2 to assignment 3 what progress you have made. Suppose you have given a test 1. So, what is your score? Then you look at your second test whether you have improved or not, and if you have not improved, then what needs to be done. Okay. So, you need to measure your progress on a regular basis to ensure that you are able to achieve the desired performance level. Otherwise, what will happen if you are not giving feedback and you do not ask for support, okay, and you do not work on it, probably you will not be able to achieve the desired level of goal that is required by you. So, what is the format of a performance plan? Okay. So, it includes the following thing, okay, like specific goals for development, measures, actions that is required to achieve the goal, and how long goals will take to achieve. So, let us take an example here. So, suppose you are going to have a format for performance plan. Okay. So, first you have a goal. Okay. Suppose for a student you say that you want to achieve a grade. Okay. Then you identify the behaviors, okay, like being regular in the class, assignments, projects, reading that is required. So, all these activities as a part of your behavior that you are going to do, right. So, this goal has to be very specific, okay, and for a course the time frame is say suppose 4 months within which you have to do it, because that is to be achieved, right. Then you also see that what kind of support that is needed support from the faculty. So, you ask for it, then feedback, you get feedback at regular intervals, and then finally, you are going to measure it. When you are going to measure, you know that you have suppose you have got A grade, it means that you have a you had a successful performance plan and you have been able to achieve the desired level of performance. But suppose if it is not A, but if it is B, it means that there are some issues, okay, somewhere something went wrong, either you did not set a realistic goal, okay, based upon your knowledge and skill base, because it is very, very important. Then when you are going to set the goal related to your performance, you have to be very, very clear, and where you are going to discuss it with your supervisor, make sure that the goals are set in a realistic manner, which could be achieved within a given time frame depending upon the level of competencies that you have. And then you also engage in those productive behavior, which is going to help you to achieve this. So, you need to engage in these kind of activities, which will help you to achieve this grade, and then whatever support is required, you get it. Go for regular feedback. So, for every assignment, after every test, you try to find out what went wrong or what was good, so that you can take certain corrective actions, and finally, you are going to measure your performance in order to see that you are able to achieve the desired level of performance, right. Now, we are moving to the next part, that is performance improvement plan. So, once you have initial performance plan, okay, now what next? So, in performance improvement plan, what you are going to do is that you are going to collect all the information regarding the kind of performance that you have achieved. Suppose you have been expecting A grade and you have got D grade. Okay. So, try to identify what went wrong. So, collect all the information related to this poor performance, like getting feedback, say for an employee it could from the customer complaints, okay, or for a quality engineers, say production manager, what is the error rates. Okay. So, you can get this feedback in different form depending upon the nature of the job, right. Then you meet the relevant team members and discuss the issues, that why did it happen. Okay. So, you go for a performance analysis, that will take up later, but in performance analysis you try to analyze the causes of poor performance, right. And you also see that what were the deficiencies or inappropriate behavior, and that need to be identified. For example, did you engage in regular attendance of the classes? Did you write all the assignments? Were you serious to read all the assignments that was given to you? Did you go through textbooks properly, right? Did you appear in the test properly? Did you prepare well for the exam or not? So, what went wrong? So, you need to identify inappropriate behavior to identify the cause which may lead to deficiency. Okay. So, as a part of the performance plan, you must get feedback to ensure that you are able to take certain corrective actions. And based on that, as I have stated earlier, that you need to develop a performance improvement plan. See, it is different from what we had discussed earlier, the performance development plan. Okay. Here the idea is that how you can improve upon your existing performance, right. So, again you get back to the basics. When you are going to set the goal, look at your competencies, look at your knowledge and skill base, look at what you are going to do and whether it is matching or not, and accordingly you are going to set the goals, right. And then you see that what is supposed to be done by you as well as your manager, okay, in terms of achieving those goals and targets, what kind of competencies would be required. If it is not there, then whether you need some interventions in terms of learning and development for improving your behavior and performance, so that you could meet the performance expectations, right. So, it is also a part of what you call the performance improvement plan. So, it is going to provide an outline of what is required by both the individual and the manager in the next cycle, so that you are able to improve the performance, right. And finally, you are going to follow it up, okay, through feedback, through monitoring, through looking at the progress that you have made at regular intervals. You need to ensure that whether you are on the right path or not, okay, and that is going to again help you to improve your performance on a regular basis. So, what does it should convey? So, if you are talking about the performance improvement plan, it should convey certain things, right. What is the improvements that you want to happen? Okay. What kind of actions you need to take in order to improve your performance? Okay. For example, suppose you have got D grades instead of A, though you wanted to have A grade. So, maybe next time when you are going to take up this course or another course, So, you need to decide about the actions that you are going to take up. So, that as a part of a strategy you have to think about those conducts and behavior which would be required by you to achieve that level of performance, right. And what kind of assistance would be required okay, from different parties. It could be supervisors, it could be friends, it could be others, right, other sources of information which is going to assist you to get that desired results. And then you also need to identify the time frame for achieving these results, right. And how this performance is going to be reviewed. Once you have a performance improvement plan, you have a time frame, you have an objective set for yourself, then you see that whether this performance improvement is to be reviewed and see that whether you have been able to reach to that level or not. And then your manager is going to evaluate that whether your performance has really improved compared to the last cycle or not. And if there is a significant marked difference, then he can say yes, there is an improvement in the performance due to this performance improvement plan, not it is different from the performance development plan. Now, in aggregate basically this is what we call the performance planning, right. Now, if you look at this performance planning, the dialogue that happens is at 3 level. Okay. So, whatever I have discussed related to performance planning is conveyed here in this picture. You can say the first level you are going to agree with what? Agree with your supervisor on the targets that is to be achieved. Okay. Make sure that it is realistic and that could be achieved in a given time frame, right. Then you are going to carry out certain behaviors and conducts, and after this behavior is conducted, then you are going to review it, right. In the review you want to see how well you are doing, right. Then ultimately you assess your performance whether you have been able to achieve it or not. So, at the first level what you do, you discuss your expectations and set the goals with the help of the supervisor, right. Start with, and then you have a dialogue that yes, this is what I need to achieve as a part of my job. Then when you are going for review, what you are going to do? We are going to see whether you have been able to make significant progress or not. Okay. So, you go for checking and review your progress to ensure that yes, you are on the right track. Okay. And then you go for assessment. Okay. In assessment you see whether you have been able to achieve the desired level of performance or not. And it is a, if you look at it, it shows that it is a continuous cycle, it means this process goes on. So, next time when you are going to plan your performance, you go through the same cycle. So, based on the feedback from the previous cycle, you try to ensure that next time you are able to manage your performance very well. And finally, if you are able to manage your performance very well, you can see what happens. Okay. This is the benefit of the performance planning. Okay. If you are able to perform well, what happens? You contribute to the goals of the organizations, okay, right, and it becomes a habit, a routine. So, if you are performing well, this would result in good reward for you, right. So, performance is to be linked with the reward. So, as a part of the performance planning, you need to ensure that people who are performing very well and contributing to the goals and objectives of the organizations are rewarded well, right. Then this is going to help the organization to identify those employees who are consistently performing well, okay, and organization is going to provide a cue or signal to them to go for this kind of thing on a regular basis, so that this kind of habits get strengthened and they make it as a part of the routine, okay, and then again it is rewarded. So, it becomes a cycle. You keep on performing well consistently, you are being rewarded and you grow in your profession and career, and then organization is going to communicate it on a regular basis that if you perform well, you are going to be rewarded well, right. And that is why if it is planned well, then it helps you to achieve the goals and objectives, and that is the first stage that we have discussed today. Thank you very much.